Oh, this is the saddest day.
I know. End of The Walking Dead.
It is like the saddest day of the year.
Hey, man, we got a little ways to go before Fear starts up, right?
Like June 2nd or something like that. I thought the way they were trying to do it was set it up so that The Walking Dead went off and then Fear came on not long after. And then when that went off, you know what I mean? So we had like a full year of The Walking Dead. But doesn't seem to be the case this go around.
I could handle maybe a month off, but June, that's a little ways.
Yep, you can't do us like that, AMC. Come on now. Give us a third show or something. So before we get into this, spoilers. I feel like the title of our video would give that away enough. But just to give you one final warning, we will be spoiling this episode, though there's not a ton to spoil, but nonetheless, we will be talking about it in depth. And also, before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Though The Walking Dead's gone off, that does not mean we are not done talking, though that we are done talking about The Walking Dead. There's always speculation and things to talk about as we head into new seasons. So we'll still be talking about The Walking Dead. And we also have other podcasts on this channel that are not Walking Dead related. So lots of podcasting content. If you are into that kind of thing, if you're listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, what is it called? Castbox or YouTube, regardless, hit whatever subscribe or follow button they have. Give us a like. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the little bell notification so that you'll get notified whenever we post a new episode. Also, follow JP on his social media. You can watch us do these live on his Periscope. It's just JP Slim, all lowercase, no spaces, no nothing. JP Slim, right?
Yeah, we are live this very minute. I mean, not as you're watching right now, but, live early in the mornings if you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, so follow that. Also, you can follow him on Snapchat. He doesn't update that as much, but you'll get the occasional post. It's J_Radsaw. And then mine is super easy for all three social media platforms, Periscope, Instagram, and Snapchat. Just I'm Justin Lloyd. All lowercase, no apostrophes, 2 L's in Lloyd. So I'm Justin Lloyd. Just go there and you can find me. I don't Periscope a lot, but as I have said for like the last month or two, I plan to at some point. But so let's get into The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 16, The Storm, which is clever, as we noticed, because last week's episode was called The Calm Before.
Yeah.
And
Clever
this was
titling.
called The Storm. I thought it was a pretty boring episode for a finale. A good episode. I'm not downing it, but I definitely thought it was a little boring and definitely did not feel like a season finale.
It kind of feels like they're following the Game of Thrones kind of formula. You get the big climax, the episode before the finale, and the finale's more like epilogue. Like the Battle of the Bastards, if I remember right, was the episode before their finale that season. So, I mean, I think I would have been a little bit more bummed if we hadn't have got, a nice big payoff last week. But,
Yeah,
we got our Pikes, we got our Henry dead, which is I'm still thankful for that, man.
Episodes like this, though, help us to explore the characters and get to know them a little bit more. Like now we know that Negan seems to really have kind of turned a new leaf in the sense of, I mean, he didn't even hesitate when running after and saving Judith. It just seemed to be instinctual to him. So, we do. And King Ezekiel being a bit of a douche to Daryl, man.
I thought so too, man. Why? So I guess he's blaming Daryl for Henry being dead, which makes no sense to me.
Well, like Carol said, though, he's only blaming you because he can't make himself blame me. Like he it's. Yeah, I thought that was a little douchey, especially after two or last week's podcast or the one before, we're talking about how much we love King Ezekiel and Corey Payton. Don't make us hate you, King Ezekiel.
I'm telling you, I mean, Henry dug his own grave. Nobody made him follow the actions he followed.
Oh, yeah, all of it's his fault. Yeah. All of it, every bit of it. I know Lydia's taking some of the blame, but I mean, she was rescued. She really can't blame herself. I mean, she's the catalyst, but she's not the one that went out and did it,
I think at the end of the day, man, just teenage hormones, Henry chasing that butt into danger,
That, and at the end of the day, he did what was right. There was a young girl who was being abused, who wasn't happy, who needed to be taken away. So while he did cause all of this because of his teenage horniness, he also did the right thing, which was to save someone who needed to be saved. Unfortunately, it just made him lose his head.
Yeah. More ways than one.
I went back and watched that. I've watched that episode, like episode 15, The Calm Before, like 3 or 4 times. I watched it last night before The Walking Dead came on, and And, man, it's still such a great episode.
Definitely one of their best, man. Just overall one of their best.
I think this season's overall been one of their best. I mean, Angela King's done the impossible. She's made me like Daryl again.
Yep.
Because I really had just kind of lost interest in Daryl after the prison fail. I just felt like after that, I mean, up through the Claimers and stuff, I still like Daryl. But I think once we got into like season 5 and beyond, he just kind of became Rick's henchman or Rick's right hand. And then he started disagreeing with every little thing Rick said. And I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan. But this season, really, I thought, because they can say what they want. I mean, they are sharing Rick's lead with other characters. But ultimately, I feel like Daryl still is at the helm of this show. And I thought a year ago I would absolutely hate that. But I'm not going to lie. I actually don't mind Daryl kind of taking that Rick spot. So
nah, man, he's got the acting chops. They just got to give him something to work
right.
with.
It's just, he's always had the potential there. It's just never been anything, hadn't been much written for him lately that had really made me like him, but really loving Daryl. Kind of crazy they end up at the sanctuary for a little while.
Yeah, no kidding. It really makes you wonder. I mean, would everything have fell apart if Negan stayed in power,
Yeah.
I mean, I think definitely if Rick had stuck around, it would have been a different ball game. But at the end of the day, I mean, Negan with the whispers of, got the upper hand like they did. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, and we don't know what Oceanside's doing during the storm, do we?
No, I don't think we saw anything from them. Maybe they're still around.
I'm going to tell you, too, when they went into Alexandria the day after or however long after that storm, it sure didn't look like there was much snow compared to the massive freaking storm they just had.
Yeah, it seems like they wouldn't even be able to get the gates open.
Being they are in Alexandria, Virginia, which is not too far from where we live right now. I mean, a few hours, but it's not that far away. I can tell you, when we have storms like that, you've got like a feet of snow. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're up to like a foot or two of snow.
I mean, that's with plows and everything.
Well, this year, we only got one big snow this year. Everything else was flurries that didn't stick, but we got one big snow, and that was a doozy of a snow. I mean, you were stuck in the station for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. I
was stuck in my house for 2 or 3 days. It was bad, But yeah, we definitely know what it's like to deal with those. Now, my question at and forgive me for being an idiot here. You got to remember, I'm exhausted. I've had a really long weekend, so I'm still kind of not awake. And I wasn't really. I was fighting sleep watching the episode last night. But when they're sitting in the sanctuary, why did they have to leave? Why couldn't they just wait the storm out? Because, I mean, most blizzards don't last days. There's going to be a break in there within the next day. I mean, at least the blizzards we have here in Virginia, I mean, it might snow really hard for a day or two, but
yeah, that's true.
Make a fire, get some snow inside, melt it so you have drinking water. Remember the 3-3-3 thing. I might be wrong on the first one, but it's something I was taught a long time. But it's like, I don't know if it's 3 minutes without oxygen, your brain dies or something to that effect. But I know the parts that are right is you can't go to really no more than 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food is the average person. So you're not going to be snowed in there for 3 weeks. So why not just bring in a lot of snow, get it melted, make sure you're stocked up on water, have some fires going, get everybody huddled up, and hang out for a day or two.
Yeah, I know Michonne mentioned, they had limited food supplies. Well, like you said, I mean, I'd feel like if they're in one place and they ration right, I mean,
it's a snowstorm. After a few days, it's going to stop.
Yeah.
Or at least give you a break. I mean, I've never seen a snowstorm last long enough to do that. But I mean, then again, and if it was other parts of the world, I'd be like, but I don't know how it is there. But no, I mean, we live in Virginia. We see these snowstorms. I mean, a day or two of heavy snow, and we've had some just like they had on that episode. High winds, lots of snow. After a couple of days, you're all right.
Yeah. And say they did get snowed in at the sanctuary, their food runs out. Who is the first person you cannibalize? And out of the whole Walking Dead crew? I mean, Jerry's
we're talking about the people.
He's the fat guy.
Are we talking about the people that are there, or
the people there?
Okay, so not just the whole cast.
Yeah, let's say they go like straight up Donner Party. Like they're stranded at the sanctuary, run out of food.
As much as I love him, Jerry probably it's going to be more of it's going to be more of him to go around.
He's the easy answer.
I mean, I hate it, but I think he's one of my favorites.
I think there's enough animosity towards Lydia that, they might have went after her. But like you said, I mean, how much meat are you going to get off of her?
Her, Carol, lots of them are real skinny. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to... Carol's real lean, so that'd be real... I
think would have happened first. Alden would have started talking more guff to Lydia. Maybe got her in a corner. You think he's going to do something. Daryl, has to fend him off, kills him. And then they're just like, look, we're starving. Why not? And that's what starts it. They eat Alden, and after that, obviously they start eyeballing Jerry.
In another universe, that is absolutely the way it could have played out.
Well, I said, it really was, man. What was cool about it, it did give you kind of that like pioneer feel,
Oh, no, that's what I love about this season is they're giving us all new feelings about the show. Like you said, I mean, you get all kinds of different feels. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, this time you really got that pioneer feel, and it definitely has. That's what I've loved so much about this season. I mean, as we typically do, if you're new to the podcast, on the season finales, we'll rate the episode, then we'll go back and rate the whole season. I can already tell you I'm giving the season high ratings because I think this is one of the greatest seasons the show's had in a very, very long time. It feels new. It feels fresh. There's different obstacles. There's different. We've never gotten snow before on the show.
Yeah, that's true, man. It's always been summertime.
Yeah, it's just, they make it through the winter. They briefly may mention the winter, and then they move on. Yeah. And, and see, one thing that I'm glad wasn't spoiled, somebody had posted in the comment section a while back that on the radio at the end, you were going to hear Rick's voice. That's why I told you not to read the comment section. I don't like spoilers. JP loathes them. Like I will be irritated with you for a little while if you spoil something for me, but at the end of the day, whatever, it's done. JP will hunt you down.
Yeah,
so,
I don't like them. But
JP don't play that.
I had seen some stuff on like YouTube or Facebook or whatever, like, Andrew Lincoln makes his return in the season finale. So when I saw that radio, I was like, oh man, is this it? Is this it?
And at the end of the day, it was probably the Commonwealth. Comic spoilers. If you don't want any spoilers for the comics, which I don't know why the hell you're so behind. We get fussed at for spoiling the comics, and people are like, I haven't. Jesus Christ, they've been going since 2003, right? I mean, isn't that when they started? 2003-ish?
Right.
I mean, they've been going for 16 years. Either shit or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? Like
you're really doing yourself a disservice. Whether you're a comic book person or not, I've recommended The Walking Dead to people who've never opened a comic book, never had any desire to. But it's so character driven. I mean, it reads like a novel. It's a solid read.
My girlfriend does not care for comics, but she loved the Walking Dead comics. She read my my little, not compendiums, whatever the hardcovers are, but I had all those, and she read through them and absolutely loved them. But yeah, so we're going to spoil the comic a bit, so we will give you warning. But I advise, don't wait till the show's over. Just read the comic. Trust me, there's so much you have to catch up to. It'll probably be another season or two before you catch up to the show. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a lot of reading. That's 16 years of reading you've got to catch up on. But anyway, so in the comics, storyline's still going on now. It's been going on for about a year, right? The Commonwealth.
Yep.
It's fairly new, and it looks like the show might be Game of Thrones in it as far as catching up with the material and the source material, and maybe even surpassing it going forward, which I think would be cool for them to have that complete creative freedom to not have to worry about
totally uncharted waters.
But I see that we are going a similar route with Negan. It looks like he may end up being somewhat of a free man, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to take back everything good I've said about this season, but I am definitely going to be quite a bit agitated if we don't get some Negan alpha.
Oh, for sure.
Because see, the only thing I'm worried about is they're softening Negan up. Like, he's still a smart ass, and they're throwing that in there. But I mean, I want season, what are we on, 9? I want season 7 Negan to meet Alpha, the one that just don't shut up, the one that's wisecracking, the one that's perverted. Yada, yada, yada. I want this. So that needs to happen next season. I swear if we don't get that, because I've got to say, of all the Walking Dead, this chair's so uncomfortable is why I keep moving. Of all the Walking Dead moments in the comics, that's by far and large one of my absolute favorite is number one, when Negan's on the panel, period. But when Negan is with the Whisperers, it's magic.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I've got to ask, which do you prefer now that we've gotten there? Like comic book Negan's redemption, where basically Rick just needs a hired gun, and, he's trusting Negan enough to, make him that guy? Or do you like, the more heroic Negan where, they still don't trust him, but he, marches off into the blizzard, saves Judith?
That's tough because the hipster in me wants to say the comic just because it's OG, but honestly, probably the TV show. It just makes him a little bit more lovable.
How heartwarming was that, man? He throws Judith over his shoulder, grabs a dog, man. That's one of the most heartwarming parts of, through the entire series,
Well, and the show did a good job as long and drug out as some of the prior seasons where you did get the understanding. I mean, yeah, Negan was a bit of a narcissist, but Negan also, in his twisted way, thought that he was saving people. Not saying he didn't enjoy being on top, because he absolutely did. But in his own way, he thought that he was saving people. I think he truly did, because in the comics we know he did. And I think the show did a pretty good job of letting us know that, like, yeah, he's an egotist and he's loving his position of power. But at the end of the day, Negan does feel like he's saving humanity. And so while that doesn't excuse his terrible actions, it shows he's not completely pure evil just for the sake of being evil. I mean, sometimes he beat people's heads in the pulp just for the fun of it. But at the end of the day, it served a grander purpose, or so he thought. So, I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying Show Negan's redemption. Like I said, when he just takes off after her without any hesitation as soon as she runs off, very selfless, and finds her and saves her and dog. Like, I mean, even when she's like, we got to save dog, he could have been like, sweetie to hell with that dog.
Yeah.
He got the dog, Judith, and with a cut up leg, and walked him to safety. I mean, I thought that, like you said, I thought it was very heartwarming.
Yeah, man. I think it definitely fit the direction the show's going in. If Michonne had just been like, Negan, these whispers, they're too dangerous. I've got to let you out so you can help us. It would have felt like a cop-out,
Right,
So, I mean, Michonne's such a badass.
I still want her to do that, but I would be cool if she came to him more as a friend now. Like, Negan, I need your help.
Yeah, I mean, we needed that, just moment kind of, I don't know, I guess a moment
win
of
us
closure.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. I don't know. I think that Negan. Like I said, I really want the Whisperer thing, but and that's what's cool is it's definitely not, because I hate when shows have this person just change on a whim.
Right.
It's like real life don't work that way, man. I mean, if people will struggle with their issues in a large part until they die. You know what I mean? I mean, you'll have relapses and yada yada yada. And what I like is, I mean, it's been years and years and years. So Negan's softening up makes perfect sense. He's been sitting in a jail cell and talking to Judith. And, he's had time to dwell on what he's done and kind of refine himself. So
yeah, man,
it feels real, it feels believable.
And something else that was satisfying is Michonne's reflecting on her actions. Her isolationist policy and how it really led to things going south. So everybody's got a lot to look back on, and everyone's learning and growing. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I just, with King Ezekiel, I don't think they are. I just hope they don't go for one of the Walking Dead cliches that they do all the time that drives me crazy. Characters flip-flopping. I get tired of that.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. He was like, I'm not trying to be a bad guy here,
Right. I just hope that it doesn't reverse. So what I mean is, in past seasons, what you would have had is Michonne changes her mind, and now she wants to let everyone in and unify. And then King Ezekiel, the one at the helm of unification, will be like, no, I don't want. I hope because that's what they've done that so many times. They've done it with Daryl and Rick and just so many other characters repeatedly, flip-flopped them. Oh, I believe this. Something comes and, it's like this person's A, this person's B. Then some event happens. Now this person's B and now this person's A. And they flip-flopped philosophies and just the way they look at the world. And so I don't mind a broken down, troubled Ezekiel. That's fine. If we go to an extreme isolation Ezekiel, that's like, we don't let any newcomers in.
Right.
Come on, man. You were doing so good at getting away from everything people were getting tired of about The Walking Dead. But
I'm telling you, man, all Daryl needed to say in that moment is, Beta would have gutted Henry like a fish months ago in the dark in the woods if Daryl hadn't have swooped in and saved him.
Oh, yeah.
Daryl didn't make him run after Lydia, but he sure as hell saved his ass.
Oh, yeah. That's just the thing, though. When you have tragedy like that, it's like the human brain. To rationalize, you have to find something or someone to blame. Which, blame the Whisperers. They did it. Blame. You got your blatant who you can blame it on. Blame it on the Whisperers. Alpha chopped your son's head off, not Daryl.
Yeah.
Hell, Daryl gave that little brat a lot more time than I would have.
No kidding, man.
First time he ran off after saving him, and he did it again. I'd be like, everybody gets one. You've already had yours, pal.
But I'm telling you, and that was another. I was telling you earlier, man. I'm glad they actually explained how the Whisperer survived this blizzard. Just survived the winter in general.
Right. I was thinking that. I was like, there's no way if these zombies are out there frozen. There's no way the Whisperers just have a camp and are just chilling during this blizzard. So they were creeping and all paranoid and didn't realize the Whisperers weren't even in the area.
They're basically on vacation right now. They're having like their family vacation. They're probably down in Florida chilling.
Beta and Alpha having this really kinky vacation.
Yeah.
Taking her lashings.
I hope they have some like Neosporin or something, man. I mean, Alpha, you're gonna get a nasty infection.
That's true. You do, man. That's one thing. People living in the woods, man. You got to treat your wounds. I mean, you get infections bad out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I wonder where they were.
I don't know, man. It looked, I mean, not like tropical, but I don't know.
They went out to South America.
Yeah, just
migrated big time.
Yeah.
I imagine they just probably, I don't know, where's somewhere around us that doesn't get much snow?
I mean, Florida, but that's still a hell of a hike.
Long-ass migration.
Yeah.
After hiking 20 miles this weekend, I can tell you, hiking that many miles would be insane.
Especially when you're traveling with a pack of walkers. You gotta keep that staggering pace.
If only they knew they were away, they could I wonder what they did with their walkers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How many did they bring with them?
Are they going to thaw out? Are they still in that pit mulling around? Or because she said their people were in the pit keeping them there. What did they do? Did they block them in? Are those poor souls still dealing with the winter weather? Like, this sucks. When are they going to get back?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the zombies just froze, and they're kind of like, when you buy something at the grocery store, you just freeze it, and then when you need it, you thaw it out, and it just ready for action.
I mean, it seems like realistically, they do another like a 5-year time jump. The Whispers have finally made their way back. I mean,
oh man, I don't want another time jump.
Yeah,
and I say that
drastic, not that drastic.
We've gotten several time jumps. We got a year and a half after the Negan war. Then we got 6 years after that.
Yep.
Now we've gotten a few months after the Henry thing. I mean, Jesus, at what point are they all not going to be old and crippled? You know what I mean? Like, if we get another couple-year time jump, I mean, I expect Carol to have a walker and Michonne to be not moving as agile. And King Ezekiel at this point has, like, dementia from old age and really thinks he's a king.
Yeah.
Which is not to make fun of dementia. It's a terrible disease.
Of course not. Yes.
I promise you, we try to do our most with the radio station to help raise funds for things like that and Alzheimer's. But I'm just saying, in this Walking Dead world. Not to mention just the things he's been through could drive him crazy itself. But yeah, I don't know, man. Another time jump.
It'd be a bit much. That was another heart wrencher talking about Ezekiel, man, when Carol was going through Henry's stuff.
Oh,
little tiger pin.
Well, and not just that, they broke up. She's leaving for Alexandria. She's going home.
I didn't even put that together until you just said it.
And they're breaking up.
Because he said, "I'll always love you."
Yeah, because she tried to give him his ring back, and he didn't take it.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
Yeah, no, that absolutely
that they're
makes
breaking
sense.
up, so she can go be with her dare bear.
Because why else would he not be going with her?
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be with Daryl, but I think she just needs some. I mean, she told Daryl earlier, I feel like I'm losing myself again. Like she's. Crazy Carol is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to take an ass whooping to Alpha. We had said a while back. You know what's funny to the naysayers out there? We did a video a while back where we said Henry might have his head on a pike. Go back and look at our YouTube channel. We created a thing, and I mean, this wasn't this was based off of reading things other people had said.
I was gonna say, like a buddy of yours told it to you. You didn't even know it was like a circulating theory,
right?
And then we caught a bunch of flack for just mentioning it.
A lot of people were like, "Y'all are stupid. There's no way they're gonna put Henry's head." And I honestly didn't think about that. Just like you didn't realize that they had broke up. I didn't even think about that until right now.
Yeah,
but we were just talking about what are the possibilities that Henry could end up with his head on a spike, because then it would be awesome to have Alpha and Carol. Like, we thought Carol would take Rick's role this season, and then a lot of people were like, y'all are stupid and that's not going to happen. They're not going to kill Henry. They wouldn't do that, blah, 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 blah. And then lo and behold, they did. And also we know that Carol is losing her grip on her domesticated Carol persona. So we might just get an Alpha Carol showdown before it's all said and done. And Alpha, it's so funny because you got strong female protagonists. They each have a strong male right hand. So basically, I just imagine the final battle is Alpha and Carol while Daryl and Beta battling it out.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder if Carol might be the one to infiltrate the Whispers. I mean, comic spoilers.
That's true.
Negan does it, but I mean, we know how good at
Carol is at playing a part. She better not. I mean, I don't mind her doing that, but she better not. That better not take away Negan's storyline. Again, I'm perfectly fine with not sticking right with the comics, but there are some moments we need, and we need Negan. I mean, Negan at this point hasn't even met the Whisperers, and imagine how funny that would be with the way Negan looks at the world. For Negan to meet a Whisperer, you are freaky as like he did with. And speaking of Negan, let's go back to that exploding chimney. Let that be a lesson to all of you with chimneys out there. Always keep those suckers clean.
Absolutely.
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was, honestly.
Yeah, man.
It blew up, and I was like, oh, my God, they just killed everybody in that cabin. But
yeah, well, at first I thought, like the Whispers had thrown like something over the chimney, and next thing you know, Beta was going to have his face in the window.
Beta was going to come down a chimney like a twisted Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Ho, 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 you motherfucker.
Yeah.
But no, how about Negan's Dr. Baby Daddy?
Oh, dude, he was throwing some great zingers, man. Father, not the father. I'm telling you, dude, that guy's the burn master. Do they still do that show? What was that show with where they trade insults on MTV? I can't remember.
Oh, Your Mama?
Yeah.
That show was so bad.
They need to bring it back. Get Jeffrey Dean Morgan to host it.
Okay, maybe they could do that. But that show was so bully. It had Wilmer Valderrama hosting.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to think of his name.
You ready? You ready? Now, bully. Like, it was such a terror. And it was so scripted. Like, that was fake as hell. Oh, my God.
It'd make like a good Saturday Night Live bit. Get Jeffrey Dean Morgan to host.
There you go.
Get him to do that.
Do it as Negan, though.
Yeah, as Negan.
And he ends up like, he thinks they suck, so he bashes their head in with a basketball and baseball bat by the end of the episode, and he's throwing all the zingers out as he's doing it.
Yeah, man. Keenan would play a great Father Gabriel.
Yes, he would.
Yes, he would.
He'd be funny, man. That'd be funny to see him as Father Gabriel.
Man, we really need to email Lauren Michael or something.
We do.
That'd be beautiful.
But yeah, like I said, what was
I was gonna say almost as good as when Dave Chappelle played Negan.
Oh, that was awesome!
Yeah.
And brought back all of his characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love Dave Chappelle so much. He's always been one of my favorites. And then I just saw this thing where this couple got scammed out of Dave Chappelle tickets online. They tried to buy them from Craigslist,
right?
And they got ripped off. So Dave Chappelle himself, they figured while they were in town to see him, since they couldn't go see him, they were like, well, let's just go get something to eat. Dave Chappelle just rolls up in the restaurant and gives them tickets to his show. Took pictures with him.
He's a stand-up guy.
They said he could not have been a nicer guy.
Stand-up guy.
I've always loved Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I've been catching up on comedians in cars getting coffee, the Jerry Seinfeld
I've
thing.
wanted to watch that. That looks
good,
really
man.
good.
Like, I was watching it when it first came on. I've been catching up now that's on Netflix, and Chappelle's is definitely one of the high points.
He's the king of burn/awkward moments, man. Like, I've seen so many with Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, I hate to crush your hero, but he looks like he could be an absolute prick in real life.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But I mean, he's funny. He's entertaining. I mean, that's why they say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
But it's one where like Kesha, they're on like the red carpet, and Kesha like runs up to him, and she's like, "I love you. Can I get a hug?" And he's like, "No, thank you. I'm good." And she's like, "Oh, come on, just one hug." And he's like, "No, really, I'm fine." And she tries one more time, and he's like, "No." And she runs off, and he's like, "Who was that?"
Right.
And that's but.
I mean, he lives by his rules, and he doesn't bend them for public perception.
I like that he's unapologetic. He says what he says, and it's what he says. You know what I mean? In a world where everyone apologizes for every ounce of individuality on the plane, that there are some people out there who still just say what they say, and if you don't like it, go deal with it.
I'm telling you, man. Like, much like yourself, I'm not really a hugger. Like, I mean, you go to funerals and stuff.
We've never hugged. Not even once.
And like I don't care if it's a funeral or what, I'm not like going in for that hug. I mean, I'm not saying there's never an instance where I'm gonna, go through with the embrace.
Now, see, I'm the opposite on that. I don't particularly like hugs. And my mom was like, "Yes, you do. You always reach for a hug with your aunts." They're my aunts, you know what I mean? And I don't see them all the time.
Right.
So I mean, and they're all way shorter than I am. So it's very easy and convenient to say, "Hey, how are you?" and then give them a hug. I just feel like it's not that I enjoy the hug; it's that I feel like it's impolite to not hug a family member you haven't seen in a while. But now at a funeral or something, now I'll tell you everything that makes up my existence is telling me not to, but I override that. And I will reach in for a hug if someone, loses someone close to them or whatever. But I am very uncomfortable the entire time we're hugging.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's one good thing about my smaller family. They know I'm, like an oddball, and so they don't.
They know you're weird.
They know I'm super weird. Yeah, so they don't even make the effort at this point. They're just like, he's here. That's enough.
He's here and he's not reading a comic. What more do you want?
Exactly. Just let him sit in the corner and
let him play with his Batman and Joker action figures.
Exactly.
He's 31.
Look,
who are you to judge?
That's true.
But like I said, I like the episode. I definitely thought it was a bit slower. But with that said, they've done something they haven't done in a while. They still managed to make their slow episodes good.
Yeah, man.
At least to me.
It was a great epilogue, great epilogue to the season. Like I said, that moment with Negan rescuing Judith, man, I haven't felt that deep in my heart since Rick rescued Shane from that school bus.
Right.
Like, I've told you before, that's probably my favorite episode.
Yeah.
And definitely like my favorite moment where I just really felt something. Yeah. And man, you know, I don't feel things often.
It was a great moment because you definitely thought Rick was leaving Shane, and he had every reason to. I mean, like Shane himself even said, we just tried to kill each other.
Yep.
You know, would you think he's going to ride off into the sunset together? I mean, but yeah, no, that was a very good moment. I agree. I think definitely the Negan, and actually not even so much him picking her up over his shoulder. The part that just hit me right in the feels was just when he just took off. That's one of the things in life that makes me so happy is when someone instinctually does something good for somebody else, because a lot of people suck.
Yeah.
I think that most people really are. I think most people, I'm not going to say most people are good. I think most people have the capacity to be good.
Exactly,
I just don't think they will go there. But, you know, in real life even, like, that's why I love stories about, like, firefighters or off-duty cops or people that just rush in to save someone with no thought to their own safety. Their only mentality is, you know, I have to, you know, this person needs help. I need to help them all. I just think that if everyone was like that, then I just, you know, I hate to be cliche and cheesy, but I think the world would be a far better place. And so for me, when Negan, she ran off and they're like, Judith, but no one really went after her. And then, you know, Negan just is like, Judith, and takes off. It just really warmed my heart. I was like, man.
All the, like, quote unquote good guys in Alexandria, you know, nobody was making that. Yeah.
They're all like, Judith, no, damn.
I mean, they didn't even, like, stop, you know, to, like, yell or
Who
anything.
wants to rock, paper, scissors to see who has to tell Michonne?
I mean, geez.
And then, like I said, that was my favorite moment. Negan didn't hesitate. He just let go and took off. I mean, completely disregarding his own safety. I mean, he could have easily been killed out there. I mean, that's a terrible way to die, too.
Dude.
Cold and wet and, you know, I mean, in the middle of that's horrible. So, I mean, like I said, that really, and then it was very heartwarming when he picked her up and everything. But like I said, just his selflessness when he took off after her. And I love that it doesn't seem like he has any ulterior motives. Like, he's just genuinely cares about her. He might not have done that for anybody there, but he definitely cares about Judith.
Yeah, man. And another, you know, really good moment. I totally forgot about this. Lydia, you know, contemplating suicide, getting ready to just let that
was dark, man.
That walker just take a chunk out of her. It's
funny.
Right?
Let's back up a little bit. Again, comic spoilers, but you know our thoughts on that. It's kind of ironic because in the comics, how did Carol commit suicide?
I hadn't put that together.
By letting a zombie bite her.
Yep.
And in the show, Lydia goes to commit suicide by that same way, and who finds her and stops her pretty much. I mean, Carol kind of had that look where she was like, oh, by all means, don't let me stop you.
Yeah.
But her presence stopped it. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of flip-flopped. But do
you think Carol would have just let that played out?
I think so. I think that in that moment, I definitely think she would have regretted it later. It's not something I think she would have been able to live with. But I think at that moment, she was just kind of observing. Almost like, and it could have been not so much she would have let her do it as the Carol knew she wasn't actually going to do it. You know, I don't know. But part of me thinks, Carol would have just been like, whatever.
I'm telling you, man, Lydia definitely needs to be watching out now because we know what happens to, you know, a daughter or a surrogate daughter or whatever. When it comes to Carol, they generally don't meet a good end. I mean, Henry, surrogate son.
I'd be like, look, Michonne's doing better than you. She's got two that are alive and well. Yeah. I'm going to go be Michonne's child. But thank you, Carol. You can be that cool aunt I visit every once in a while. But yeah, no, I definitely think that part of her would have definitely just sat there and been like, well, tough stuff, but at the end of the day, I think she would have regretted it. And then, like I said, she had the chance to kill her, and nobody would have known, guilt-free in the sense, and decided not to. And I was telling my girlfriend, think about this. I mean, how old was Sophia when she died? Like 9, 10, maybe?
Something like that.
I'd say somewhere between and I'm terrible. Keep in mind, I am terrible guessing kids' ages. I'll be like, that kid looks like they're about 6. She's 2 and she has a thyroid problem. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was guessing.
I mean, I was working on a mustache at like 12, you know, so.
Yeah, I had a creepy ass mustache in high school, man. Like back when I was in high school, though, you got to keep in mind, like kids were proud of their facial hair. So any kid that could grow that porn stash, they did. And I really, that's why I won't let anyone see my senior pictures because they're creepy as hell. And then I didn't have any contacts that week. I hadn't gotten them renewed, so I had to wear my glasses in my senior pics. And I had this freaky ass mustache. So I I went to my parents' house and literally like took them off the walls.
Oh man, I had a goatee that just still makes me cringe.
None of this started coming in until like my early 20s. I was starting, and even then it was a little patchy. It wasn't until like my mid 20s that it started growing full. You know what I mean? That it was just from top to bottom.
I'll tell you one thing though, having a
You're
goatee. You're
hairier than I am, though.
Yeah, well, that's my problem, man.
Except for up here.
As too much testosterone, the hair grows everywhere, south of the scalp.
And how is it you have an overabundance of testosterone, but you're the most lethargic human being I've ever met?
It's hard to describe, man. My physiology is a strange thing.
Maybe you're a mutant. Like maybe you have some superpower that hasn't surfaced yet, and as a result of all the testosterone.
Yeah.
I've lifted weights with you. I mean, you're definitely average strength.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, there's got to be something in there that you haven't tapped into yet.
It's weird, man. Like 18, already had a receding hairline, had a nice full goatee. I was buying beer, Well,
I had a friend in high school that was pretty much bald by the time we graduated. But like you, he had a full beard. And definitely had been able to buy beer since he was like 17.
Yeah,
he used to buy me cigarettes when we were like, I might have been like 15, 16, this guy who was my age could go into the store and buy me cigarettes.
Yep, it definitely had its advantages, but
But yeah, I don't. That's my go-to when I don't know what to say. Is I don't know why I say that. I'm trying to learn my crutch words. But again, great show. I mean, a great season, great everything. I'm one of these people, man. It's like JP and I have said it many times. People have abandoned The Walking Dead or given up on it, and that's fine. I mean, there's shows that but Walking Dead's one of those shows, man. I'm in it for the long haul. Good season. It's like when you get into it with a show, you got to understand it's like a relationship. It's not always going to be peaches and cream. There will be moments where you doubt your decision, but I'm in it with The Walking Dead till the day they end the franchise. I'm talking, I'll watch any spinoff shows they make. But I am so happy, and I hate that. One thing AMC needs to get straight. So originally, when we started doing this podcast, I wouldn't watch The Talking Dead because I didn't want to bite off of them too much. But then once JP and I started getting our own kind of online presence and persona, and we're able to do our own thing without copying, then I was like, okay, it's kind of safe again to watch this because I love The Talking Dead.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. That's good.
Kind of why we do this. We love talking about stuff that we like, and so I had gotten back into it the last year or two. And here the last two nights, they've had new shows. Well, the last two Sundays, they've had like new shows to premiere on AMC. So what they do is it's usually The Walking Dead comes on at 9, at 10, The Talking Dead. They've now started pushing The Talking Dead back to 11 because they'll play like their new show just so you'll watch it.
Really?
Don't force your stuff on me like that, man. Right. I want The Talking Dead. Yeah. I get the marketing reason behind it, but let me put it to you like this. When people will try to defend that decision, be like, it's a great marketing. I normally watch The Talking Dead. I have not watched either of these two new shows. The second I find out Talking Dead's not coming on at regular time, click, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I mean, you train us to watch that right after, and yeah.
Yeah, from a marketing standpoint and our little bit of experience in radio, I would definitely say that's not. You train your audience. You get them used to certain things at certain times, and they keep coming back for it, And I mean, it's not saying that listeners are like mindless people you have to train, but just saying, I mean, it's anything, any TV programming, radio, whatever. Like even YouTube, that's why we try to keep a schedule. I mean, if we just throw a podcast up every now and again, there's a good chance we would lose half of you because you wouldn't know when we were or weren't podcast, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But by doing ones every Monday, every Tuesday, we create a schedule with our listeners and they know when they can come back. You know what I mean? Yep. So that just seems like, don't do that anymore, AMC. And I really like Chris Hardwick. Matt that used to podcast with us, hated him. I think it was just more for the hell of it because we liked him so much. But I really like Chris Hardwick, man. I mean, like, if I could have one podcast guest to talk about The Walking Dead, I mean, not overall, but for The Walking Dead, it would definitely be Chris Hardwick. I would love to have him on the thing to talk about it. So, don't push that back next season. Let's keep The Talking Dead at regular time.
Yeah, man. So glad he, came through that storm with the whole sex scandal with the ex-girlfriend.
Right.
I'm glad he came out on the other side.
And see, it's one of those things we'll never know because we weren't there. No one will ever know except for him and that girl. But here's the thing, man. It's just like she seemed a little unhinged as it was, had a history of being unhinged. And at the end of the day, here's what does it for me. I mean, I can't make an ultimate decision, and you try to reserve judgment until you have enough evidence. But at the end of the day, when you have ex-girlfriends coming out the wazoo to be like, look, I dated Chris, it didn't work out. But never at any point was I physically or mentally abused. Never has he struck me as the type of person who would abuse anybody. You know, we just got this mentality of like victim mentality of like if someone claims abuse, we just automatically get behind them and point the finger and are like, damn you, without actually like realizing some people do make false claims to get that spotlight.
Absolutely, man.
Victims of domestic abuse, whatever, you know, assault, rape, all of that stuff deserve their platform, and people that have done that to them should definitely be put away and punished because it's horrible. It takes a horrible human being to do something like that. But at the end of the day, let's make sure that we know make sure we have enough evidence before we start putting people away.
Yeah, dude. Definitely one like negative consequence from the, what is it called? The Me Too movement, which it definitely has, you know, done a lot of good too, but it's created kind of an atmosphere into like guilty.
Almost a witch hunt.
Yeah, it's guilty until proven innocent as opposed to innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, you know, like victims have were able to get their voice out there and, you know, justice be brought and everything. But like in that instance, you know, they were ready to just crucify him before anything came out. So. It's
like it's a catch-22, man. It's like it's good that we're at a time where victims can speak up and be taken seriously, because there was a time in history for people of different skin color and gender that like they could speak up about a crime and people would just be like, whatever. So it's a good thing that we're at a point where when someone says they were a victim that we stop, we try to help them, we try to get justice for them. But let's also make sure that, you know, because at this point in time, you got to remember a lot of these people who are victims are paid to be on TV. They get paid to go on Fox News or paid to be on CNN. So some people are terrible and they lie to get that spotlight. You know what I mean? Or they're paid to ruin someone's career by lying. So anyways, not saying I think everyone that's been accused. There are a couple of celebrities that have been accused, I fully believe, have abused and done the stuff.
Things are definitely looking bad for like R. Kelly. I don't think there's much defending him.
And they deserve what they get. But Chris Hardwick, I am glad, because I've liked him since the time he started The Talking Dead. The Talking Dead. And I'm like, please don't let that be true, man. I mean, I know I'm not the same person you see on the podcast, neither is JP. Everybody has their like public persona and then who they are. But I was like, please don't let him be a scumbag, man. I like him. He seems like a nice, genuine, likable guy. Please don't taint this for me. But he came back and is still, I mean, it's hard to believe for him. They started that in season 2, I think, at least midway through, if not the beginning.
About right,
so for him, that's 8 solid years of, right?
Yeah.
8. My math's terrible. We're on season 9. He started in season 2, so that's 8 seasons he's done and done a phenomenal job. Like at no point has The Talking Dead got boring. Even some episodes that we haven't liked, The Talking Dead has somehow been interesting, even though it didn't have much of an episode to go on. Man.
Not only that, I mean, he pretty much built The Nerdist from the ground up.
He really did.
And they try, we're taking that away from him.
Yep. And that's the thing, too. When something like this pops up, they just automatically, luckily they didn't straight up can him per se, but they just without. And I mean, I guess it's kind of, I understand where the networks are coming from. It's kind of like if you had rape accusations, I probably would say, we're going to take you off the air for a little while until, we can sort this out. So, I mean, I get why they do that, but I do hate that they just automatically are like, oh, he's been let go from this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, well, man, if he's innocent, that's awful. And shame on you to the person that did that. You just ruined someone's life and their livelihood for the spotlight.
I mean, that's this PC culture. I mean, there's always such a knee-jerk reaction. You know what I mean?
Wow, we went off the rails.
Yeah, we really.
The gist of all of that is we love you, Chris Hardwick, and we're very, very glad that everything worked out. But if you did abuse that woman, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, shame on you.
And I'm going to beat your ass.
We don't think you did.
But we don't think you did.
We hope not.
We don't think you did. But yeah, so, oh man, it's so sad. The reason why we're rambling on is just because we don't want to let you guys go. I mean, we do have I'm not going to lie, though, having some Mondays off will be kind of nice to just come in, do the morning thing.
Yeah, man. I don't know what show is, obviously Game of Thrones.
We are covering Game of Thrones.
Like The Watchmen is coming on HBO.
I'd be down to cover that.
So. I don't know. We need to get a schedule of what TV shows are coming up.
Yep, and plan around it.
Yeah, what we want to talk about.
But yeah, so we will definitely be back for Fear the Walking Dead as soon as that starts, which unfortunately doesn't seem like it's. Which we say it's going to be forever, but June seems so far away. But I mean, it's already April, so I mean, it's only like 2 or 3 months. But we're going to be covering Fear the Walking Dead, of course, when The Walking Dead comes back. We're going to be covering Game of Thrones, maybe The Watchmen. And we take suggestions. If there's enough suggestions for something, we'll watch that and talk about it too. But don't forget, even though The Walking Dead is wrapping up for the season, we also have Tuesday current events Tuesdays, where we talk about things happening on the web that day. Random Rambling Wednesdays, our favorites, and mainly because I just take JP's, I just let him go.
We cover a lot of ground.
JP's not restricted. I'm trying to think of something like what's something in sci-fi that inhibits someone from being the monster they really are.
Oh, geez.
If you play Resident Evil, he's kind of like, I kind of have like Mr. X's limiter jacket on him to keep him from mutating and just unleashing hell. But on Random Rambling Wednesdays, we take that sucker off and just let JP say and do whatever he wants, for the most part. I shield you guys from a few things.
Yeah. I don't want to
You can thank me later.
Yeah.
But, and then Thursdays, we have Mail Call Thursdays, which we've got decent response this one. Like we said, if that continues to dwindle as far as the comment section, which we get it. I mean, how many things can you ask us, right? That might have been something we should have started doing once or twice a month versus once a week. But we may fuse it into another podcast or maybe just start doing it once a month or something. But we do have some people that seem to really enjoy it. So we'll keep it going as long as I guess they keep asking questions.
Yeah, we'll keep responding in one form or another.
Yeah, and make sure when you ask a question, if it's not on a Mail Call podcast, you put hashtag Mail Call beside it. Like if it's under this video, put hashtag Mail Call. That way, when we're scanning through looking for your questions, it's much easier because these, we get a lot more comments than other ones. So wrapping up this episode, I'm trying to make sure we've covered everything. I mean, it was kind of, Father Gabriel's trying to take the high road with we're a community of people that still love and respect each other or whatever. And it's like, and I am totally not thinking every other day about how I want to break Sadiq's jaw. Not just because he whines when he talks, but also he's knocked up my girlfriend. I
mean, look, Rick wasn't, afraid to kill a doctor, when he wanted the doctor's girl. Negan wasn't afraid to incinerate a doctor. So, look, it's not that taboo in The Walking Dead, Gabriel. Just, kill Sadiq.
Right. Right.
Just,
Yeah, I think that I think it's definitely going to create some friction as we move through the show. You're going to have, she's going to have Sadiq's baby. I'm sure Father Gabriel's going to let Sadiq have a part of that child's life. But also, like Negan said, what do you think their little appointments are about?
Yeah,
I mean, Negan's pointing. We're thinking it. Negan's saying it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people are able to co-parent and be mature about it and all of that. But let's face it, most can't. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about in that situation. Now, yes, some people co-parent, they're divorced or whatever, but I'm talking about like a friend is knocked up your girlfriend, and you know what I'm saying? Like some people can be mature about that, but it's not a lot of people. That's why you usually see some kind of Facebook post or meme about it if they do. But yeah, as far as this season, oh man.
I think it was the perfect, those last two scenes, man, perfect wrap up. Negan on the same bed he was on after Rick slit his throat with Michonne, talking to him. And that will end in with the radio, man. Good stuff.
Absolutely. Solid episodes. Like I said, I thought this one was a bit boring. I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, still a good episode. I mean, they're able to make and I hear Angela King wrote the episodes that I hate the most back in season 4 with Daryl and Beth. But definitely seems to have grown from that because, I mean, like, yes, it's slow, but again, we're jumping between different storylines. We're seeing, I just keep doing what you do in Walking Dead, and there's no telling how many seasons you're going to go.
It makes you wonder, Gimple might have been like, look, Angela, I need you to write like just a Daryl Beth episode, make it really, like warm-hearted and fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
She might have been, under a...
Well, at the end of the day, he was the showrunner. Yeah. So, I mean, he got to have the final say, and it's very possible that that's exactly what happened. All right, here's the deal. We need to fill some time. Daryl and Beth are together. Write us an episode about them, tackle these issues, and go. And Angela King was just kind of like, okay, I'll do what I can. But with Beth and Daryl together, there's not much of a interesting conversation to be had. But, But no, this episode's slower, but still, I loved it. I mean, I'm just waiting for the comments. This episode sucks. This is why the show's go, whatever. But I really enjoyed it, man. To each their own. If you don't like it, I feel you. Thank God there are thousands of other shows to pick from. Also, I still hope you listen to us, even if you don't like the show anymore.
Yeah, we're still entertaining enough. Come on.
We try. But so let's rate the episode and then let's rate the season. So this episode, hand under the table.
Okay.
Bring it up. Episode rating.
What'd you give it?
3.5.
I gave it a solid 4, man. I like this one.
Keep in mind, we're talking about out of 5. So 3.5 out of 5 is not bad.
Yeah, that's a solid B+.
I'm saying it's, right, exactly. It's a good way to put it. It's like a solid B+. I'm saying it's a good episode. Very much enjoyed it. Expected a little bit more from a finale, but at the end of the day, I'm not mad. Looking back on this season, I really don't have many regrets. And that brings us to our next point. Hand into the table.
All right.
Let's rate this as this season as a whole. Ready, set, go.
4.5.
That's what I did. 4.5.
4.5.
That's
Nice.
what this is. If you're wondering, if you're watching the Periscope, that's why I'll do that if it's 5. I'll do that if it's 4. I'll do this if it's 4.5.
System.
4.5, man. I mean 4.5 because there were a few lulls in there. That's the main reason I couldn't just go ahead and give it a solid 5. But I mean, it's damn near perfect in my mind. It's made The Walking Dead interesting again. Not that, again, we're diehard, so we're going to watch no matter what it's doing. But the last season or two, there were plenty of points where I'm like, oh, my God, can we get on with it? I didn't feel that in this season. I feel like it moved at a very reasonable pace. We had Rick's send-off this season. I thought it was a great send-off for what they had to work with.
Absolutely.
I can't say enough good things about the show. There's something kind of season 1 feeling about it. There's every episode there feels like there's something new or there's some new angle they're going after with that episode. I loved it. Gotta give Angela Kang just a pat on the back, even though I don't know her personally. So if I patted her on the back, I'm sure security would probably hurt me. Yeah. But I doubt Angela Kang will ever see this. But if you do, I think at least that you have done a phenomenal job with your first season as a full-time showrunner. I mean, you've taken a show that was great, but it definitely hit kind of a slow point and just breathed all new life into it.
And you killed Henry. If they hadn't killed Henry, I'd probably be sitting around a 3.
Yeah.
3.5. I don't know.
Yeah, if it ended with Henry being the big protagonist going into season 10, it'd have been oh my, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
But no, so this season was phenomenal. I've loved it. Every Sunday I was looking forward to it more. I mean, it got to certain points where, as much as I loved the show a season or two back, there were certain points where it felt almost like a chore to watch it. We'd have to spend the whole episode with Negan and Eugene. Yeah. And it's so this season again, I loved it. 4.5 solid. I honestly wanted to give it a 5, but I'm just I need to be more conservative with my 5s because if I'm not, then if I just throw them out there for everything, then people won't take them serious.
I was gonna say, they lose meaning.
So maybe now that she's got her momentum and she's definitely got an idea in mind of where they're headed. I mean, who knows? Season 10 might get that 5.
It could, man.
So we're gonna see, but. We have loved talking about every episode. I'm sad to see it go. Next Monday, we probably aren't going to podcast anything because we're just going to treat ourselves to a Monday
nice little break,
podcast-free day. Not these, we don't like doing these, but I mean, you got to think we have to edit. We got to post them on multiple platforms. It'll be nice to come in after the weekend and just do our radio thing. And
kind of maybe brainstorm what we're going to do.
Right. And then the Monday after, maybe we'll have some stuff. I mean, because there's always fan speculation now. We don't do spoilers, so we're not going to do any spoiling dead content or any of that because I can't make myself watch a show if I know everything that's going to happen. But with that said, if there's fan speculation, like I actually just saw where Maggie, it's extremely, and people were giving us a hard time about that. Y'all are idiots. Maggie's already in talks for re-signing for season 10. Well, she just did an interview the other day where she said straight up she might have some guest roles on The Walking Dead, but it's not looking likely that she is going to go back to the show full time. So, but things like that, we'll do some fan speculation of is Maggie coming back? Is Rick coming back? But they'll be purely based off of things like, I don't know if Andrew Lincoln is starting to grow his beard out again. Does that mean he's coming back to the show? How would they do it? If it's something like the Spoiling Dead's leaked, then we're not going to talk about it.
And more information that might come available with the Rick movies. We might.
Man, I cannot wait to do those.
Oh, dude, I know.
Those are going to be fun. I think those are coming in 2020 or 2020. 2020, really. They better not drag that out too. I mean, you don't want them to rush production because you want it to be good, but at the same time, it's all right, man. Rick's gone now. I mean, we need to get this movie on out there before people just lose interest.
That's for sure.
But we will see you tomorrow for Current Events Tuesday.
Yeah, see what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. I apologize for yawning. It's Monday morning and I'm tired. But we will see you tomorrow. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead.
Sure enough.